Good evening and welcome to Let's Talk Access, a social media program produced and presented by the UWA Open Campus. I'm your host, Cherise Glasgow. Today, we are going to speak about the UWA Open Campus's Social Work Training and Research Center, and we're also going to learn about some of the programs, specifically one of the programs that they'll be offering this summer entitled Online Grant Writing Workshop. Today, we have two special guests. There are Mrs. Sarita Buchanan, who is the head of SWTRC, and also Mrs. Antoinette Parma Emmanuel, who is the acting program officer, at the center. Ladies, welcome to Let's Talk Access. It's a pleasure to have you on this evening. So how are you doing?
Thank you so much for having us. We're doing good. We're doing good.
So happy to be here, Shirley. So it's a pleasure.
Great. So let's start this discussion. We will start with Sarita. I know from knowing Sarita these years that she is a social work professional. She's dedicated her life actually to this discipline. So Sarita, tell us some more about your work as well about the center.
Thank you again, Cherise, for having us. I'm always excited to come on the program and to talk about social work and in particular the work that we do here. And I should say that the Social Work Training and Research Center, and I think a lot of persons would know it as the Social Welfare Training Center many years. What we do is social work. What we do is the training, research, in social work, but also expanded areas of youth work, which is a part of social work, and other areas. We do training of paraprofessionals as well as professionals, and we do research, evaluative work of social work programs, social development areas, projects, different outreach activities. So what we do is geared towards human development, like I like to say. In terms of my work over the years, it has anything to do with young people, developing persons, ensuring that we can get to our full capacities. My particular area is around wellness and well-being, around persons being able to just having a conversation today about how it is, for example, that we are all coping with post-pandemic syndrome. How it is that we're all mentally, socially, and emotionally developing. And this is what social work does. It looks at the social functioning of individuals, groups, communities, families. And so what we do is all our training is geared towards not just social workers, but anyone who is interested in anything around their human development, anything around foundations who like to do work with communities and community development. All of that is people oriented. And so I like to say our work, and my work in particular, is geared towards people. And so we have all our programs, all our research is also geared towards private and public sector, looking at how we can do that sort of work with people we work with in our organizations, outside our organizations, in the communities that we live, and in our churches or schools and everywhere that we choose to work. I know I said a mouthful and I talk a lot, Cherise, so you can jump in at any time and stop me.
Okay.
But it's something that I'm very excited about. And I think many times, and I'll say this about social work, not just in the Caribbean, but across the world, that it's a profession that has been overlooked many times. And I think a lot of persons don't understand what social workers do. And so we look at it as the do-gooders and the welfare work only. But the whole human being, all aspects of development of people is what we're about. And so I will say that that is very important work.
Very important indeed. It's funny enough you should mention about the pandemic, because in our last program, when we were featuring, Antoinette was on and we were featuring mental health, that was one of the key undercurrents that was really spoken about. So how, in terms of what you offer, how has that really impacted during this time?
Well, I think about, the pandemic in two ways. It caused us to think and rethink the way we operate, the way we think, the way we live, the way we work. And in terms of the center, a lot of our programs did move fully online because we did offer programs face-to-face as well as online. And what it did is allowed us to actually reach many other persons. I know we're not talking about our mental health program, but that program in particular is a very crucial one at this time. I was just sharing with a colleague this morning that one of the things that we keep forgetting about this pandemic is that even though we continue to work and we continue to live and have our being, I mean, thankfully, because some persons did not last through the pandemic. And so we have to understand that there are residual things about, there is one research that speaks about post-traumatic stress disorder that is actually a lot of us are experiencing. And so the work that we do in this pandemic, while it still continues, while it has ended, some person said it still continues. The point is the work that we do is very important, whether it's in training the professionals to help others, we're then doing some of these courses because you yourself realize that there are areas that you need to expand on for yourself, understanding the dynamics of the pandemic, the social, the physical, the financial impacts of the pandemic, and how it is you can use our programs and our research to actually develop yourself as we move out of a pandemic and into a period where we are either going back to our levels of functioning or how we change and look at different ways of being after the pandemic has gone. And so it has done a lot for individuals and it has done a lot for the center in terms of how we operate. And it is something that we will bear in mind as we move forward to learn from what has happened and to be able to get to a point where we can say we have gotten to some level of, not back to normalcy, but to a level of normalcy, whatever that means for individuals, groups, and families.
Or the new abnormal, as I like to call it.
Yes.
So your work definitely speaks for itself, the work at the center, because this year you all will be celebrating your 60th anniversary. And I want to take this time to join with our open campus community to congratulate you on this momentous occasion. So tell us about that.
Thank you so much. You know, it is a joyous thing to get to 60. You know, with any organization, with as individuals, 60 is a milestone year. Many organizations don't last that long, individuals, all kinds of things. And so to get to 60, it is a great occasion, but what we're celebrating is not just getting to 60, but the work that we have done over the years. We have trained thousands and thousands of students across the region and the world. And what we have seen is the fruits of our labor in that way. Before my time being head, all of that, we have, you know, 1962, we're celebrating the 60th along with Jamaica. And, you know, it is just a great year for us to be alive. And we have a number of activities for the year. We have our students, our first program started in 1963. And I think we have a few persons still alive from that program. And so when we look at these things, it's great. We have persons across the region who are permanent secretaries, who are ministers in the region, who have done our initial program in social work. And so we're excited to celebrate. So we're not just celebrating because we've lived to see 60 years, which is in itself a great accomplishment, but we're also celebrating our students and our other stakeholders who have passed through the center and we have made some impact in different communities in a meaningful way. And so this is why we celebrate. And we have had 2 events already. We celebrated World Social Work Day in March, which is a great occasion. We did it online so that persons could come and join us as we reflect on the 60 years. We also spoke about, and I'm sure Antoinette will remind me as it relates to that, but we looked at social work and social workers and how it is that we've gotten to this point and what it is that we need to do for the next 60 years. And that was a great celebration. We had persons joining us face-to-face and online, and we had things like a yoga presentation helping us to be able to relax. But we also had a seminar speaking about different things about social work and about the work that we do. And then we moved on to have, of course, because one of our things is about outreach. We did a stationery and book drive for the Hayfield Primary and Infant School in St. Thomas in Jamaica, We realized as a rural school, there's a lot that was needed post-pandemic, with a lot of learning loss and all the things that happened. We decided that one of our give back would be to help the school. And so we thank all our donors who donated to the school, donated stationery, donated books, other school supplies. And so we delivered that to the school, and you can go to our social media to see some of that. And then we have coming up, and it's very exciting. We're excited because we also have to remember that our students are key. You have passed through the center, those of you, and this is an open call. You can help another student to learn, to understand social work, to help themselves, to help their communities, their churches, their schools. And so we have an online auction where we have a number of things that you can auction, and you can bid on these things and hopefully win that. And that is part proceeds in aid of student development funds, so that we can sponsor students to be able to come and learn. And of course, it is also to help us with our building that we need some help with right now. So that, and the final activity or culminating activity for the year is a gala dinner. And we're asking everybody, no matter, guess what? The pandemic is almost over. Flights are open. We're inviting everybody to come out. That's November 27th, and you'll be hearing a lot more about that. And that dinner is also in aid of our building fund, as well as, again, to sponsor for scholarships for students to be able to study and to make a meaningful impact on the Caribbean and the world. And so we look forward to all these activities, and I'm sure as the time goes by, you'll be able to see and hear more about that. So thank you for the opportunity to speak on that. We are excited.
Most definitely. Yes, most definitely. So what I heard was a lot, not only events for knowledge, but also for fun and excitement. And as Sarita gave an open call to former students to come back, you can also help. I'm sure they wouldn't turn away anyone who has passed through the center who would also like to contribute or to help in any way. Remember, this is their 60th anniversary, everyone. So just remember to give back.
Thank you for that. And not just past students, I should say, Cherise. Anybody who wants to really support. So thank you for that.
Yes. So we look forward to hearing more about these activities as the year progresses, and we will try as much as possible to promote and assist with anything that the center would like as we go through the year. So let me now take this time to just remind everyone that applications are now open for all programs being offered by the Open Campus for the academic year starting September 2022. July 26th will be the deadline for undergraduate programs, and June 30th will be the deadline for postgraduate programs. There will be no MPhil, PhD, or ED offered for semester 1. 2022 to 2023. You can log on for more information at www.apply.open.uwi.edu/. So now let us move specifically into one of the offerings that Sarita would have mentioned earlier for the summer, and this will be the online grant writing workshop. So I'm sure many of us have heard about individuals or institutions who would apply for grants to gain funding. So we will ask either Sarita or Antoinette, she can jump in here. What exactly is a grant and what is grant writing?
Okay, so grant is one of the financial resources in which organizations use to fund their activities, their operations. It's typically tied, but normally when you hear grant, seem to be associated with social development. And that is where we want to go, because we are social work seeking to assist the vulnerable. And so through this program, you'll be provided with the basics and the best practices that are needed to present your grant proposals to win those grant funding, so that you can implement these useful and needed programs and projects that will assist children, the elderly, the disabled within the community, because we know that communities are facing a lot of challenges because the government is not able to reach a wide reach. And therefore, it is for individuals to step up and to participate in the development of their communities and the nation at large. So
Great. No, go ahead.
Right. So, this program, the grant writing course, is a 2-day workshop, and it is focused on individuals within community organization, non-government organizations. We're talking about schools can participate as well in writing grants proposals. We have churches as well. Each one helped one. And therefore, it is open to a wide cross-section of persons and organizations who want to increase their output and their communication of the need. That's what your grant proposal is doing, is explicitly stating what is your need and how it is going to benefit someone or those group of persons that you have in mind. And our workshop is targeted as providing you with practical opportunities in which to increase your writing and communication skills, and how to even further help in terms of how you get this project to really show that it is a viable and sustainable project.
So Antoinette, as the program officer, you will be really in tune with a lot of these initiatives that the center is offering. And one of them will be the structure. I'm not sure if you would have been involved in actually structuring the workshop, but can you go into more detail about that?
Okay, right. So it has probably about 6 elements to it. We are looking at the project summary. Persons don't have time most of the times to read a full document. So the very first page, you need to grab the person. So we provide you with the tips that is needed so that as a possible funder takes up your grant proposal, they say, it piques their interest as well as it speaks to their heart, so that you can be the one in which they choose to provide funding. Then we go to the standard element of a grant proposal. Missing one can be critical, and then you need to find out exactly what it is that these sponsors are looking for under each area. And so we take you through what are those elements. Then we introduce you to some tools, and a major tool that we look at is the logical framework. So you're looking at the complete process, from what are the inputs that are needed within the project, your output, your anticipated outputs, and as well as the outcomes. Because while, say, you're doing a school building project, it's not just the building, what will it be used for? And you're hoping that at the end of it, you can be increasing reading levels within the community. You could be increasing social integration among persons who utilize the space, because you have the gang wars and so forth. And we always say that social integration is important, that can move you from this place of division and into a place of unity and harmony and work together. And especially in garrison communities and so forth, there are usually a tendency for division within it. And through the social programs that your grant proposal will support, you are providing an avenue to assist these individuals to come together, to work around the issues that they have, as well as to build up their self-esteem and themselves in which to get themselves better and to make their community better. So we look at the project summary, we look at the logical framework, we're looking at the sustainability plan, because you can have a good project, a great idea, but how does it move beyond this initial funding that you have been given, right? Because you want it to last, you want it to go beyond the short period of your project. Projects are temporary. You want to show the individual that you're finding a way in which to operational throughout the years, whether it's in your school, in a community, right? Because we know that some of the problems of the world, they're not new, but we have to find solutions that are long lasting, that can be replicated by not only you in years to come, but other communities can say, oh, this is how we can do it. This is a new way in which we can speak. It also talks about partnering with other persons and getting this project, this idea, this integrative process to expand, mushroom and, far reaching. And then we look at our budget. How exactly are you spending our money? They want to ensure that it's being used for the right reasons and that you have looked at all the possible options in terms of spend, where you're going to get your inputs from, how are you going to utilize it, and so forth. So we take you through the process of writing a budget, refining a budget, and then sometimes there are some grant sponsors who want it tailored in a specific way. So then we provide you with tools and different narratives that you can put within the budget that fit the framework which the sponsor asks for. So those are most of the elements of our grant writing workshop.
I was going to say that sounds like a very in-depth course. What about
Yes.
like say someone who isn't, what about someone who isn't really, they're a novice to grant writing? Would they still be able to participate?
Yes, it is. Our entry requirement does not exclude anyone. So we're looking at persons with good writing and organizational skills. On top of it, as it said, it is a workshop. So we're giving you a practical experience. For each of the elements of the structure, you would be given hands-on activities in which you actually work it through. What is my project objective? You're trying to make it into SMART objectives. We show you how to write it, how to rephrase it. We show you how to use a logical framework, how to create your indicators as to this is exactly what I want to achieve through it, and break it down into how are we going to get each of the elements to work for the project. So, we don't just throw you into the theoretical. We take you down to the level. And that is why, while it is offered online, we believe in a hybrid. So you can come in, we offer the class, so you can have option to be online or face-to-face. And our lecturers like that. They like to interact and to speak with you. We want to ensure that when you leave, you are satisfied and you're provided with all the tools that are necessary. We may not give you all the information, but we will guide into the right direction and resources that are available to you beyond what the classroom setting can offer. I see Sarita wants to say something.
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much, Antoinette. And Cherise, just to add that the important thing about this program is that even though we're talking about social development programs, if you're doing a business grant, the principles are transferable. Awesome. The program is structured in such a way, even though it's a workshop, and I know we have other groups who say, oh, they want to come and do it again because then they want to refresh. We've had persons say, oh, they want more. Because what you find is, and I'll say this, our facilitator is an expert in the field, and not everybody can brag this. Our facilitator has gotten millions of US dollars in grant funding. That's the first thing. And the second thing is our facilitator also has sat on boards and committees that have selected proposals. And so what our students will have is someone who is not just talking theoretically, but someone who has the know-how to get it done, but also who is on the other end to actually say, this is an excellent proposal. And so I needed to interject that listen, it's not just for persons who are doing social development programs. Yes, that is our area and our focus and our thrust is in that area. But if you have a business grant that you're trying to apply for, the principles are transferable. And also our facilitator is an expert in the area and can give you the right keys to move forward with whatever it is you're trying to do. So a lot of times we talk about entrepreneurship and we talk about how is it adding value. Those are the values that you will get from a program such as this. It is added value in terms of the social impact, but there's also added value in terms of the potential for the success rate in terms of the type of skills and the knowledge that you will engage in a workshop such as this. So thank you for the opportunity to mention that.
So it's definitely a program you can take the workshop and hit the ground running with the knowledge that you have acquired. Yeah, so that's what we want, something that you can have in your hand and say, well, I have done this and I can do this. Is not, I find that a lot of programs are so theoretical these days, but then when you actually go to actually perform the task that you read about, you can't really understand how to actually put it into action. So it's good to hear that this program does have a practical element and it has success stories behind it. You've actually read some of my questions because I was going to ask about the facilitator, because you know, when you see a course and you like it, you want to know, well, who is teaching this course? So can you give us a little bit more detail about who the presenter of the workshop will be?
All right, so we have Tanisha Stoney, who is our presenter. We have been working her for some time now. She's not new to the game, as Sarita has said. And she, as Sarita said, works at the community level. So this is her day-to-day, where she has to prepare grants in which to fund the community development projects that she is responsible for, right? But then also she guides businesses, as Rita has mentioned before, in presenting their business development plans. And the skills are transferable, and that is critical. And I love that, Sarita mentioned that, because even if you look like Social Development Commission that assists persons from the ground in building up their proposals, that some of the elements within this can be transferred into their business plan, right? The proposal, and then how it is that they get into interacting with the persons who can provide them with the funding, So that's what we like.
So definitely it's good to know that you're learning it from an industry professional, which is so important. So we've gotten so carried away in speaking about the elements of the program. We haven't even mentioned the date or how persons can apply and things like that. So just give us some background into that in terms of the dates the program will be offered, the duration, and how it will be assessed.
Right. All right.
As well as costing.
This is a 2-day workshop. And as I mentioned before, it is offered online. So it's offered in a hybrid modality. So you can be online, so you can take it from your home. You could be in Canada, you could be in Trinidad, you can be on the beach and you're here learning, right? Or you can come to the SWTRC, Social Work Training and Research Center, within the classroom where Ms. Tony will be here. And therefore you can have a personal conversation, and if time permits, you can extend beyond if you have another question, and we try to facilitate that. But then for you to apply, you can visit our website, open.uwi.edu/SWTRC. You head over to the programs page and it will provide you with the information in terms of dates, the link to the application form. Because we don't want to give that link because it's going to be too long to remember. So just remember, you visit our website, open.uwi.edu/SWTRC, head over to the programs page, and you'll find the link to the application forms. Now, through there, if not, just call us at SWTRC 876-927-2478. We are online and ready to assist you. We'll also provide you with the payment details. If you are in Jamaica, we have 2 options for you. You can pay through online transfer through National Commercial Bank, or you can use Paymaster payment facilities. You just have to ensure that on your receipt you put on SWTRC, and when you email it to us at swtrc@open.uwi.edu, then we will provide you with confirmation of your acceptance and so forth. So it's July 5 and 6. So you have around 3 weeks in which to present your application. Go online, open.uwi.edu/SWTRC to get the link to the application form. Yeah.
So in terms of the payment for persons who are outside of Jamaica, how would that be facilitated?
That is one of the great things about being in the open campus, because we have over 16 sites. So therefore, as long as you're within one of these regions, we can get you in contact with one of the site offices, and then you can make payments through their facilities. If not, we'll provide you with the international wire transfer for our banking account, and then from there. So you ensure that you apply, and then we'll contact you, and you can make a notation as to say that we need other options than what apply for just the NCB. All right. So if you're already a student, yeah, for some of our courses that are already within our system, you could use the student portal. But for now, just email it as swtrc@open.ue.edu, and we'll run you through the process again. We are here to serve you, and we'll walk you through, and have any questions, we're ready to assist.
Okay, great. I just placed the email address into the Facebook chat, so persons who are watching us via via YouTube can get that email address. And as Antoinette said, you can send them an email regarding the program. So I wanted to ask, grant writing, I did some research and I came up on information that said grant writing can be a lucrative career. According to erieri.com, our Economic Research Institute for the USA, the median annual salary for a grant writer is $69,000 US a year, and Glassdoor.com estimated that to project to even 72,000. So that depends based on your location and the type of institution you work with and your experience. I'm not going to ask you guys for any statistics regarding the Caribbean because I know you may not have that per se, but can you just elaborate on the demand for craftsmanship skills in the Caribbean and for this specific career field?
You know, Sharice, I will interject here. It is so interesting that, you know, as we move forward and the world develops and, you know, we look at, I mean, globalization was one thing, but our development in terms of technology is so far reaching and every day something changes. A grant writer is a professional field. Writing a grant takes particular skills, knowledge, and practical understanding of different things, like the logical framework that you have to do. And so I hear you talk about the type of remuneration that you can receive as a grant writer. And it is very interesting, but the point is, I'm not sure what that is for the region, but there are people who literally, this is what they do for a living. You do that for organizations, you do it as an individual, and you literally are able to make a living and build a quality life for yourself around grant writing. And the reality is that because we're living in such a world where funding is coming from different areas all across the world, you can be sitting in Jamaica and getting funding from Sweden. Somebody can be there and doing work in Jamaica. And because of the online aspect, and the Open Campus knows that more than anyone else, than many institutions in the region, grant writing is the future. It is the now and it is the future. Looking at the pandemic and the things that it has caused in terms of, you know, our finances, but also in terms of development and aspects around, our future is around writing effective grants that can do what they need to do. So while we might not have the figures about what that might produce for persons, I personally know persons who, this is what they do for a living. They write grants. And so the success rate, to ensure that you have the right success rate of actually receiving the grant, a program such as this is what you need to be able to say, bring in your 6 figures if that's what you want, or 7. You never know, but the opportunities are there, and it's time for us to start to think about how it is that we can do short courses such as these, the grant writing course, and we have many other courses to be able to help others, which is the important thing, because guess what? One of our themes for World Social Day was Ubuntu, I am because you are, because in being a human being, helping others is what we're about, but also to be able to take care of yourself and your family. So a grant writing profession and area is it's lucrative, And it's also an exciting way to be able to think about life. And it is something that can actually bring value, not just financial value, but value to community, society as a whole. And as I said, to yourself as an individual. So this is the way we have to think. And I know we're not talking about, and I know Antoinette may mention this, many of our courses across the open campus, and I'm sure you will probably talk to CPEC, and they will tell us about the verifiable credentials. Across the world, people are looking for those things. You do these short courses and it adds such value, not just to your career. So we're not saying that you have to say, oh, we're going to do this workshop and take on the world as a grant writer, but it could supplement your career. So you can look at this workshop in many ways. How is it that you're going to improve yourself? You might be a researcher in an organization. You might be a freelancer. You might be doing different things. You might be working with a community development organization or an individual who has this idea that you want to help someone and you want to develop your skills so that you can be able to do it. So there are many ways to look at this workshop. As a profession, this is a way to, advance that element or to supplement what you already do. And it's an important one to take you to the next level.
I'm glad you mentioned that, Sarita, because even during this pandemic, a lot of persons have been finding ways how to pivot their careers and their lives. So what I'm hearing is this course can be something, either you're stepping into something new or you're stepping up. So whatever it is you think you would need in that aspect, this course would be an integral point for you to be able to go in that direction that you would like to go.
Definitely.
And also, you mentioned the verifiable credentials. I know that we wouldn't have that yet, maybe for this course, but is there something that you can have in your hand? Maybe you're looking for a job, you want this employer to know, well, I took this course and they want something that they can actually see?
Yes. So at the end of the workshop, you get a certificate of achievement because the assessment includes individual work and group assessments. As you said, that logical framework is an important tool that is not only used in grant proposal, it's also used for project management. And project management is across the field and across sectors, public and private. So you are being provided with a wonderful tool and an asset that is transferable between industries, between non-government versus government versus private. And therefore, at the end of this, you will get your certificate from us. No, it is a continuing professional education course, workshop. And therefore, as it falls under that CPE, the hours can be used to gain your CEUs, your continuing education units, right? And we are in the process now of having this course, getting that verifiable credentials. And it can be happened quickly, and the verifiable credentials are important for it is accredited internationally, it's accepted internationally, and therefore we are there, we are working on it and getting it to you. So, and any course that you do is a part of the lifelong learning, right? You have to constantly build yourself. At the top of Maslow's hierarchy is that of self-actualization, and this is for your personal benefit, and you can find uses for the course for personal as well as career development as
well. This course just keeps on giving. So I want to encourage everyone who is watching, if you want to capitalize on this opportunity or you know someone who can benefit, please the email address into the chat where you can send an email to the team and they will provide you with additional details for this workshop. So we want to ask Antoinette if there's anyone out there who for some reason they still aren't convinced why they should take this workshop. Can you just give them a reminder, please? You're muted.
Right, thank you. All right, so grant proposals is one of the mainstays of gaining funding for any project, whether it is at school, community, church, business organizations. And we said that this is transferable beyond those social intervention projects as well as for business. The tools that are used, that you are introduced to, the RACI tool, the logical framework, they are transferable to project management. So therefore, you are provided with an asset that will help you, even in terms of just how we assist you with writing your project objectives. Objectives are needed for everything that you're doing. And we are giving you the opportunity to not just read that, hey, it's smart. At the end of it, you will be super smart in how you are framing your thing so that you ensure that you are meeting the targets that you wanted to, and you're saying the things that the sponsors need to hear. And that is what, this is critical. You can write something, but you want to ensure that when the individual picks it up from the first page from your project summary, you are ready to go. And because we're providing you, and because our facilitator is in the field, utilizing this at Multicare Foundation on a daily basis, right? Using it, partnering with other institutions, you are being given expert advice and guidance in how to use it. It is a practical program, and at the end, other than the certificate, the information and the tools that you are given are transferable for any situation, scenario that you place yourself in.
Great. Colleagues, you heard once again, Antoinette is selling this course, and this, to me, this workshop is selling itself based on the different elements that are in it and also the practicality of it. So please, I've placed the email address once again in the chat. So please capitalize on this opportunity. Don't miss this summer opportunity.
Right. And I want to take this time as well to remind persons that we are offering other courses. We'll be offering our digital social work on the 27th of July. You still have an opportunity to join our impact assessment and evaluation, which works hand in hand with your grant writing. So if you are trained in both of these areas and you present your team within your project proposal, your grant proposals, you are presenting a winning team towards these funders that we said, these persons know what they're doing and they're ready to go. And they will ensure that whatever money we provide you for is used effectively, efficiently, and the output and the outcome, the impact of your work will be greater because of the training that you have received from our courses. So impact assessment, that's for Monday, June 20th. You still have an opportunity to sign up. So visit our website, open.uwi.edu/SWTRC, and head to our programs page where you'll get the link to the application form, or you can call us at 876-927-2478, and we'll give you all the other information that is needed.
Great. So we are definitely hearing that the programs can go hand in hand, kind of interwoven, and assist in whatever it is the participant wishes to do. So just a reminder again of our application period are now open for all programs for the academic year 2022, starting September 2022. For our undergraduate programs, the deadline is July 22nd, and for postgrad, the deadline is June 30th, which is the end of this month. There will be no MPhil, PhD, EdD being offered for semester 1, 2022 to 2023. You can log on to www.apply.open.uwi.edu/. And also, just to recall what Antoinette would have mentioned just a few moments ago, along with the grant writing program, and the information should be coming on the screen shortly. The center will also be offering 2 other summer workshops. First, we have the impact assessment and evaluation, where participants will be introduced to areas such as monitoring and evaluation, results-based management, and evaluability assessment, among others. That will be from June 20th to July 15th, and the price is Jamaican 20,000 or US 150, and persons will be given a certificate of achievement. Also, the second workshop being offered would be the digital social work workshop, and some of the areas that will be included would be the standardization of social work technologies, as well as digital social work in practice. That will be a one-day workshop offered on July 27th, and the costing will be Jamaican $10,000 or US $70, and persons will be given a certificate of participation. And finally, once again, we have the grant writing workshop that we are speaking to you about this evening. That will be on July 5th and July 6th. And as we see, it's a 2-day workshop, and the prices are Jamaican $15,000 as well as US. And we go back up for the US amount.
US 100.
US 100, thank you. And just remember not to delay applying. And also, I think we're having a 10% discount available. Can you speak about that element?
Yes, so groups of 6 and more will get a 10% discount. So for that, when you apply online and you specify, you can note that you're applying for other persons, and when you work it out for us, when you work it out, we will speak to you and provide you with the information as to where you pay and the different options that are available to you.
And if we can go back up, we see there's a flyer advertising some of the activities that Sarita would have mentioned earlier for the coming year. So are these available on your specific social media page?
Definitely. You can find us at UE Open Campus _ SWTRC. That's our Instagram, and also on Facebook. And you can find it on the webpage as well. So we look forward to having everyone at our gala dinner. As I said, everyone is welcome, no matter how far you're coming from, Australia, wherever. You don't have to be in social work to be able to join us. We also have our online auction that is coming up in July, and we look forward to having persons for that online. You don't have to leave home. You will see the items being advertised on our Instagram and on our webpage, and then you can bid on the items on July 15th, and all the details of bidding will be available pretty soon. So we look forward to that.
Great. So just hold that slide for a moment. So if anyone wants to screenshot, the slide with the contact information, if anyone wants to screenshot and contact members of the Center for additional information, it's there on the screen, the social media platforms. So colleagues, we're coming to the end, and I just want to give both Sarita and Antoinette this time to give us any final words, either regarding the online grant writing workshop or the center.
All right, so I'll go first. And just to remind individuals that learning and continual self-development is important. And so our CPE programs, as well as our diploma and degree programs, are here for you. Social work is an important area, but how we have framed our course offerings is that it's beyond just social work, but these are skills that are transferable for any job that you are interested in. You know, project management, just as social work, as well as grant writing as professions, are lucrative. And therefore, look at what these are offering for you and how you can use them beyond the scope of the initial framing of the courses, you know. And we look forward to seeing you for the summer, and, you know, visit our website, open.ue.edu/SWCSC and see what are the other programs that we offer.
And I will continue where Antoinette left off about the idea, even digital social work we see here. I like to say that our organization or department does not just look at social work in particular, but the many transferable skills that you learn in doing a social work program. Digital social work is one of those. Any helping professional or anybody who does coaching or any other area could learn from that program how it is that we use the technology to facilitate helping-based professions or persons who work with individuals, whether it's through coaching, whether it's through counseling, any other area that you might have or looking to. And so the other thing I would say is that we are very proud of what we've been able to do over the 60 years, but we want to be able to do a whole lot more. And that will take a lot more persons to be on board with us. It will take persons be able to see the value in social work, not just as a profession, but we have foundations. We have different persons working in corporate sector across the region, across the world, who can benefit from doing courses such as this. Social work, as I like to say, so I'll end where I started, is an area that looks at human development. You might be a leader in an organization, and you might think, oh, social work, what is that? It's not just about social welfare. There are two different areas. It may have stemmed out of social welfare. And maybe another time I can speak on some of that and how it is that social work has developed into a profession where what has happened is that problem solving is an important part of what social workers do. And so as a leader, you might be working in an organization and wanting to learn about some of these things. Even doing one of our courses or introduction to social work course could be an excellent program for you to learn about human development, human behavior. It doesn't necessarily require you to do a whole degree. You could do that if you're trying to switch careers, because that's an important one. But doing one of our short courses in that area, no matter if you're in social work or you're working in a business or commercial entity, understanding some of the skills that we offer is critical. And again, as I said, to learn more, you can even visit us. We have no problem. We're located on the UWI Mona campus. We do work across the region, and we do work global with other entities as well. And so we welcome everyone. If you want to just take a drive and come and see us, and so we can share more, we can engage in ways that we can help your organization, because we also do that. We do courses for organizations. We develop areas that you may want to do, and that consultation can happen. That consultation is free. Speak to us about some of the challenges you're having, and we can find ways, whether it's through research, whether it's through training, any other social development or other area that we might be able to help you to evolve. And so don't look at it social work training and research center and you think, oh, it's just for social workers. It's for everybody. So join us for our 60th anniversary, and join us. As I said, just come and see us, and we can talk a lot more about what we can offer you as an individual and your organization.
And so Rita, you can speak it into being. In a few more years, it will be 70th. So don't worry about that at all.
Yes, definitely.
So I just want to thank everyone for joining us this evening and for participating in this informative session about the center's offerings, as well as some of their summer programs, and also about their 60th anniversary celebration. I want to thank Antoinette Parma Emmanuel, who is the program officer, and Sarita Buchanan, who is the head of Social Work Training and Research Center here at UWI Open Campus. I would also like to thank our technical team, Patrick Johnson, Richard Barth, Master Reed, and Charlotte Reynolds person, who is the admin assistant at Center, right? Thank you for joining us and helping us carry out this program this afternoon. So until next time, I am your host, Cherise Glasgow, and bye.
Bye, thank you.
Thank you.